the mythical real estate creature that is the FSBO, also known as the for sale by owner. If you've been in real estate for any bit of seasons, or maybe if you're brand new to real estate, you may have heard legendary tales about for sale by owner. See, the for sale by owner is so close to a listing in hand. It's somebody that has raised their hand, they've expressed interest that they want to list and sell their property, but here's the caveat: they want to do it themselves. Many have tried to corral that unicorn that is the for sale by owner, and just as many have failed. There's a reason why There's a reason why so many fail. Is one, most agents don't understand the mindset or psychology of for sale by owner. Two, in order to understand and embrace the psychology of a for sale by owner, one can have great success with them. So if you're interested in adding 5, 10, 20, 25 deals to your bottom line in this next year, if you want to make an additional 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 exclusively working for sale by owners, this is the video for you. Stick around, because here's what I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover the personality of a for sale by owner, understanding the mindset of a for sale by owner, and most importantly, a 3-step approach to working with for sale by owners, allowing you to prospect for sale by owners, ultimately gaining their trust, and eventually listing their property for sale. And in many cases, they are the hands down absolute best clients to work with. I have made a living working with for sale by owners. They are by far my favorite clients to deal with. They are by far the most difficult clients to deal with up front and at first. Once you gain their trust, they're absolutely amazing, a joy to work with, because they do a lot of heavy lifting with you. And as long as you're part of the solution and not part of the problem, they're amazing clients. So if you're afraid of working with for sale by owners, if you're afraid to approach for sale by owners and you don't have a strategy and a system, this video is for you. Now, excuse my basic remedial nature of video, but I wrote some notes. And the reason being is this is such an important topic that I didn't want to miss anything. So first and foremost, we have to understand the personality of a for sale by owner. It's really easy for me to do and easy to explain the personality because I am that personality of a for sale by owner. I am wired like a for sale by owner. I would, if I was not an agent, I would list my own home for sale. Currently, I work on my own car. I do all my own home repairs. Heck, I would even do surgery on myself if I could. So that's just the mindset. But what goes into that mindset of a for sale by owner and understanding? Well, first and foremost, we have to understand that a for sale by owner likes to control their environment. Some might say they're dominant, and they do come across as dominant, but that's not necessarily the case. In a lot of cases, they're very friendly, a lot of very welcoming, but they do like to control the environment, control the controllables, and well, in some cases, yeah, be in charge. They're highly analytical. They are most for sale by owners. There's one archetype of for sale by owner, and I'm going to cover the 3 or 4 or 5 different archetypes of for sale by owners. There's one that is not very intelligent, but the other ones are extremely intelligent. Most of them have a higher level education. They hold high level positions within an organization, or they own their own businesses. And at the end of the day, and I'll give you a little insight, the reason for sale by owners own their own property is because they are of the mindset that I'm highly intelligent, I could figure this out, and nobody's going to do a better job than I'm going to do for my own home, so why not do it? Okay, so don't understand it. They are highly intelligent. For sale by owners get a really bad rap that they're cheapskates and that they want to save money, or they just don't want to hire agents. Well, part of that is true. I mean, who doesn't want to save money? Do you want to save money when you buy something or sell something? I do. I want to save money. So we can't really put a for sale by owner into the category of a cheapskate without putting us all in that same category. At the end of the day, we all want a good deal, and that's exactly what they do want. A for sale by owner wants to sell their house for maximum dollar with the least amount of expenses, and they want to net the most amount of money. And look, team, we got to respect that. Okay. Number 3. They are non-emotional. Now, not to say that they're not emotional and that they're robots. They are non-emotional when it comes to business. The business of selling their home is just that. It's a business to them. They're bottom line driven. They're not going to be emotional with the process, and they're going to handle their business. And they're just, any attempt to be overly emotional with them or sell them usually doesn't work with for sale by owners. That's why most agents, if not all agents, let's just call it 99.5, just making that number up, 99.5% of all agents all fail with for sale by owners. But here's the thing, 70 to 80% of for sale by owners, and I'm not making this number up, this comes from the National Association of Realtors, ultimately list their property with an agent. So if 99% of agents are failing and 80% of for sale by owners are listing their properties with an agent, eventually, who are they listing with? They're going to list with you. And here, because you're going to stick around, you're going to listen, you're going to understand the process, and you're going to put these systems in play. To fully understand the personality type, I wanted to give you a few archetypes or personalities in the way of fictional characters. Some fictional characters that would be for sale by owners if they were real people. Number one is Tony Stark, Iron Man. Tony Stark would be a for sale by owner. That beautiful house that he has overlooking the ocean, rest assured, if that property is to be sold, Tony Stark would do it himself. Well, he'd have Jarvis help him. That's a whole other conversation about artificial intelligence that, well, you probably should watch some of my other videos. But he would have Jarvis help him. But aside from that, Tony Stark would do it for himself. Why? Because Tony Stark controls his environment. He's confident. He's ego-driven to a certain extent that, well, he wants to be in charge. He wants to control the entire situation. So Tony Stark would be a for sale by owner. Number two would be Ron Swanson from Parks and Recreations. If you've seen that show, you know. And the reason Ron would be a for sale by owner is because he is the anti-system. He's the anti-establishment. And he's going to be a for sale by owner just because you're going to tell him that he can't do it and that he should hire an agent. He's going to do it just to prove you wrong. So Ron Swanson would definitely be a for sale by owner type. Number three, Walter White. Who watched Breaking Bad? Who loves them some Breaking? Walter White is that silent, I'm financially in trouble, but I'm going to figure it out myself and be a for sale by owner, and I'm going to create the solution. That's Walter White. Highly intelligent, school teacher, physicist, knew nothing about his industry. Same thing with for sale by owner. You can figure out, they believe. In most cases, they can. It's, well, insight. They run out of time. But most of them do and can figure out how to sell their own property. And I will give you two more archetypes. This one is a funny one, and this is the one that most for sale by owners get pigeonholed into this category, but it's really only a small percentage of for sale by owners, and that's Michael Scott from The Office. If you remember Michael Scott from The Office, that's what she said, that guy. Overly confident, but clueless, right? That's Michael Scott, and that is a for sale by owner type. Those type of for sale by owners usually end up listing in about, I would say, the first week after going for sale by owner. And then the last one, the opposite end of the spectrum, is the for sale by owner that usually doesn't list till about 60 days of being in that process, and that's the Rocky Balboa for sale by owner. That's the one that is just relentless, just keeps going, keeps taking the hits, gets the bad pre-quals, the bad buyers, the low ballers, the investors, does open house after open house after open house, and just keeps trugging along because they will not quit. That's the Rocky Balboa of for sale by owner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 archetypes of for sale by owner. So no matter the personality, we have a general blanket of what they are. Dominant, controlling of the environment, like to be in charge, very intelligent, with the exception of the Michael Scott archetype, and non-emotional. They are data-driven. So how does understanding this personality allow us to create a framework for prospecting, ultimately getting them under contract, and then ultimately listing their property? Well, the first thing is to understand that it's about a 30 to 60 day sales cycle on your part. From the time you make the initial contact with them until you actually get them under contract can be as little as a week, but that's extremely rare, to as the average would be about 30 days, and on the long end would be about 60 days. Remember, team, 70 to 80% of for sale by owners list their property with an agent eventually. Now, that may be in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 5, week 6, week 8. You have to follow this recipe, this process, this system that I'm going to give you, so that for every 10 for sale by owners, 8 of them will want to list with you in your general market. Ready? Number 1, provide support without pressure. Number one, provide support without pressure. This is going to be week one, usually within 24 to 48 hours after you identify the for sale by owner. Either you see that in a local periodical or newspaper, you see it from one of your lead providers or data providers, you see a sign go up in your local neighborhood, whatever. Within 24 to 48 hours, that's your initial contact where you provide support without pressure. Here's what it looks like on the phone. Ring, ring. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. FSBO, my name's Jason. I'm a local real estate broker. Look, before you hang up, you're probably getting a lot of calls from a lot of agents. I want to let you know something. I'm different. I make a living working with for sale by owners, usually several weeks or a couple months after they list the property. And I want to just connect with you, make myself available, let you know that I understand and I respect your decision to list your property for sale by owner. Now, you may or may not know or be aware of the adventure that's ahead of you. But in order to prepare that for you, I have a few items I would like to drop by. And what I'm going to bring to you is a buyer roadmap, a seller roadmap, a checklist for sale by owners that maybe has some things that you didn't consider, or maybe you did, but I want to provide you some additional options, such as escrow, such as title. Should you or should you not be providing a home warranty? Now, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I don't have agency with you, so I can't give you too much real estate advice, but what I can give you is tools, resources, links, and information portals on where you can get a lot more information. And you know what? You probably already have that already figured out, but I have a few extra open house signs in the back of my car. I'm going to drop those by as well because I'm sure you're going to be doing an open house. So I'm just going to drop those by along with these items. And when's a good time for me to drop by? Say maybe Friday between 3 and 5, because I guess you're probably going to be doing an open house on Saturday. Boom. Support without pressure. They're going to be no. They're going to be resistant. They're going to have high walls up. That's expected, team. They're getting bombarded by agents telling them that they can't do this, that they're going to waste money, that there's a better way to do that. They have agents citing references to them, telling them what percentage of them fail. Imagine somebody telling you that, hey, great job on listing your house, but you're going to fail. I don't know about you, but the personality type of sale by owner is, no, I'm not. I'm going to prove you wrong. So now every other agent that calls in, they're in a defensive mode. They got their hands up. They're angry, right? Don't be that guy. Don't be that gal. Don't be that agent. Be there to support. Give them some resources. And if you remember my initial script, rewind, listen to it. I say I make a living out of working for sale by owners, usually when they list with me a couple weeks or a couple months down the road. I'm not playing games. I'm not making it any secrets. I'm not trying to play cloak and dagger with them. I'm letting them know that I want to list their property, but I also respect their decision. I understand where they're coming from. So with that said, I'm going to give them some resources. I'm going to equip them. I'm going to empower them to go ahead and get this property listed on their own. And when and if, well, I'm not going to tell them when, but if they are to fail, I'm there to support them. That's week one, 48 hours all through that first week. 48 hours within the property listing, phone contact, and then secondarily will be the drop by providing the resources and open house signs if you have them. Look, how much are those corrugated plastic open house signs? A couple bucks? I mean, if you got a pack of 50 and you left 5 with an open house, and everything else that you're going to drop off is going to be branded with your information. All right, team, so that's week one. Now, weeks 2 and 3, follow up. Here's when you're going to follow up. You're going to follow up on Friday, and you're going to follow up again on Monday or Tuesday, ideally Monday. And here's why. Because they're doing open houses over the weekend. So your script on Friday is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. for sale by owner, are you doing some open houses this weekend? Have you had some interest? Have you had some calls besides real estate agents? Awesome. Hey, in regard to the for sale by owner open house scenario, here's some things to be aware of. Here's some systems, some strategies, and some solutions. Here's some things to look out for the tire kickers and the low ballers. Here's some information for you. I just want to put a bug in your ear and just caution you. I want to prepare you. Be ready for this. Do you need help putting out your signs? No? Okay, awesome. Mr. and Mrs. for sale by owner, good luck on the weekend. So they do their open house. They go through the weekend. You're going to call them on Monday, Tuesday. Hey, how'd it go? Oh, boom, you're going to contact them. Mr. and Mrs. for sale by owner, how'd your open house go? How many people came through the open house? Do you have any questions? Do you have any buyers that you need to get pre-qualified? Here's some lenders that I can connect you with, or you can contact them directly. Ask them to cross-qualify these buyers to make sure they're not lowballers and tire kickers. Do you know what cross-qualification is? I'm sure you do, but do you want some information of some friendlies, some people I work with that can cross-qualify them? Okay, fantastic. Here's their information. Or no problem. Follow up. Do that every week for the first 2 to 3 weeks. So that's about 2 or 3 follow-ups before the open house and after the open house. Weeks 3 through 8, sometime in this window, they're going to list with you if you stay consistent. So weeks 3 through 8, provide support. Quick check-ins. One thing I got to go back and tell you, every time you talk to them, never, ever, ever mention listing the property with you, coming by and signing a contract, or, hey, are you ready to give up, or anything along those lines. Silent support. Support on the FSBO's terms is the name of the game. Remember, they're controlling the environment. They're pulling the levers. They're saying when. You're providing support for them in that regard. So weeks 3 through 8, remember, this is when they're going to list with you eventually. But you need to continue to place that silent support nicely in front of them without pressure. Hey, here's some additional open house sign-in sheets. Here's some additional information. It can be as simple as a phone call. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. FSBO, I'm just checking in with you. How are things going? How are you feeling with this process? Now, you're not in escrow yet. I thought maybe you would be. Do you want to revisit a pricing strategy or a marketing strategy? Now, you're starting to give a little bit of more than you've given. Now you're starting to give in a little professional support beyond just the general, hey, you got this. Now, because in their mind, they're starting to question, do I really have this? There's something missing. I need help. I need support, but I'm not going to ask for help. I'm not going to ask for support because that would mean admitting defeat. And the for sale by owner is never going to admit defeat. They're going to list on their terms. It's going to be a silent surrender, and it's going to be support on their terms. I'll give you an example. I mentioned early on, I do everything myself. I decided I was going to build a retaining wall at my house. Bad idea. Eventually, I had to silently surrender and hire a contractor to do that because I was out of my depths. Okay? Now, some for sale by owners are going to get there. Probably 7 or 8 out of 10 are eventually going to get to that silent surrender portion of the process, and you need to be there to support them. And it is a long game, folks. It is a 30, 60-day sales cycle. It's not for the weak. But if you follow this system, if you have questions about the handouts, the systems, the solutions, the strategies that you provide to the for sale by owner so that you can continue to gain and earn their trust, send me a message. I'm happy to help. But with that said, team, you're powerful. Stay powerful, get after it, and don't be afraid of FSBOs. They need and want your help. They're just not going to ask for it. Stay powerful, team. Talk soon. Bye-bye.